Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of The Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys joining us for an on the water video today. We are going to be talking about fishing the nothing looking banks. You can see this bank behind me here. There's just nothing on it. It's just a flat gravelly type nothing looking bank, and these can be some of the most overlooked fishing areas that you have on an entire lake. It's one of my favorite areas to fish because it doesn't look good, and a lot of times fish will gravitate to these areas because of that. So we're going to get into that in today's video. Also guys, just a quick invitation. I'd like to invite everybody, if you haven't had a chance, to please consider subscribing here to The Fishing Teacher. It's free and easy to do. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button. And also I'd like to invite you to please check out our Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns, guys. We got all our fall and winter map breakdowns up on the website here. These are breakdowns I built for fishthemoment.com, so I'll put the link in the description for that. So anyway guys, I'm gonna go down through this bank here and sort of talk a little bit about it, and help you guys catch a few fish on it. Now, the thing about this, what you have to realize, is that these flat banks like this, one of the reasons they're so good is the fish come to them to escape fishing pressure. It's not necessarily that they have good habitat here, because most of these areas, they don't have much habitat. There's small rock, there could be some isolated brush out, there may be some drop off close to it, but overall, there's not much here for a fish, other than the fact that it allows fish to escape fishing pressure. And that's a big deal at times. A lot of times these fish, they go to areas that aren't necessarily the best simply to get away from that fishing pressure and the noise of the motors and recreational traffic. So here's some tips and advice how to fish it. A lot of it has to do with your water clarity that you're fishing. The water clarity will dictate your technique as well as in correlation with the water temperature. So when you're fishing areas like this, you've got to be fishing baits that you can cover a lot of water in. This is not a type of area where you're going to cast out a plastic worm and just drag it back to the boat. So when you're fishing flat areas like this, your baits like topwater lures, you know, if the water's a little warmer and cleaner, is going to be really good. A spinner bait covering water, a chatter bait, but especially something like a crankbait. Now also something like dragging a football head jig. You can cover a lot of water dragging a football head jig. But for the most part, you're going to talk about moving lures here. The depth that you want to fish on this is relative to the slope of the bank, because even though these are nothing looking flat banks, sometimes there's some deep water close to it. So say for example, if there's a creek channel coming through here, it may be 2 or 3 feet deep up there, but it could be 10 or 12 foot deep out a little deeper if there's some deep water creek channels there. So you want to concentrate on those areas closer to deeper water if possible. But other than that, you just want to basically fish shallower water. So I like to target sort of that 3 to 10 foot zone with it. It seems like that's the best overall depth for me. Another time is like in the winter time of the year. If you got a little bit cleaner water, you can back out off of these flat banks and you can get closer to where that drop off is. Sometimes those fish will suspend out on that drop on these flat banks. But my favorite way to fish them is when the water temperature is a little bit warmer, say above 60, 65 degrees. And I simply get on these banks, guys, and I just put the trolling motor pretty fast and I just cover water. Like, say for example, on this bank right here, I put some like a walking topwater on, and I just go. I just make long casts, try to concentrate anywhere between 2 to 10 foot deep, cover water anywhere. You know, if the wind was coming in on it hard, maybe like a lipless crankbait or a spinner bait, same deal. Just long cast to the bank, just chunk and wind covering water. Because what you're going to have on these is these fish on the bare banks like this, they're roaming through here. They're cruising and roaming these flat banks. They're looking for crawdads, they're looking for minnows, they're looking for shad. So they're constantly on the move. There's nothing on a flat bank that's going to keep these fish in one spot, unless there's like a brush pile or a stump, which a lot of times you're not going to have it. So one of the things you have to remember is you have a lot of isolated fish that just move up and down these areas. And that's one of those reasons you want to cover a lot of water and use moving baits. It allows you to basically just put your lure in front of more fish. So main thing about it, guys, is don't overlook them. One of the more high percentage areas you have on these, if you have any type of subtle point on it, like the flat nothing looking point, can be really good. And also pay close attention to your GPS, your mapping system, because the mapping system can show you where those areas are where there's a little bit deeper water close to these flatter banks. So don't pass them up. They get passed up a lot, guys, People don't fish them because they don't look appealing, but I've caught tons of fish on them, you know, all year long. So anyway, hope it helps out. I'll talk to you guys later.